Hello, this is Pat Walker, Mission Winners, doing a video overview for everybody on the ETFs. Why do we look at the ETFs? Here's a fact. Leading groups produce leading stocks, and leading stocks produce leading groups. By looking at the ETFs, we can see where there's strength, potential opportunity to make money, but also weakness, areas to avoid. That helps us. Here's the Dow. By the way, this is sorted by alphabetical. The Dow right here, as you can see, is just basing near highs, and that's good to see. I'll shrink this just a bit so you can see a bit more of the chart, okay? And if we find a buy spot, we'll talk about it. But you can see it's just basing up here, and that's nice. Here's the next one for us. This one focuses on the MAXLIST stocks. Fell, and then it rallied up on pretty good volume. It's just basing here. There's no clean entry on it, but what does it tell us? The MAXLIST stocks aren't acting that bad, and that's good to know. I like that. Here we go. Gold. What does this tell us? Gold miners, stay away from gold for right now. You can say, oh, this is a good green bar. I'd like you to do, and I'm going to show you a great lesson I used to teach at the IBD meetups. Look at how it closed. It opened and it closed below where it opened. Big tail bar here. What does that indicate? Selling. There was selling into strength on this. Be careful with that. Nothing to do with it. GLD, these are gold miners. This is GLD, and it's another one. Look at this. It gaps up and closes near the lows. It gaps up and closes near the lows. Needs to show some real power. Until it does, I'd kind of be cautious with it. That's simple. Biotechnology is trending nicely. Make that a little tighter for you so you can see more of it. It's trending nicely. Maybe looking at some biotechnology stocks. Oil, always gives you the name right there. It's languishing. There's no real power there at this time. Just move on. Now, what does that tell us? Stay away from oil and energy. Done. This is software technology. Yes, we're involved with software and technology, and it's acting pretty good. I'm not saying buy this, but what has it been telling us for a while? Oh, maybe look into some software stocks. Yeah. Do we own some? Yes, we do. And this was telling us. It guided us towards some software stocks. Microsoft's one of them. Here we go. Medicine is hanging in there. It's pretty nice. It's trending nicely. Maybe look into some medical stocks. There you go. By the way, you can punch up IHI and look at see what their top 10 holdings are. That's a good starting place. Systemizing things. You know, it's like, oh, I got to look at everything. No, we don't. Let's look for strength and avoid weakness. That helps us. Here we go. Midcap's kind of hanging in there, but note this. It fell on fairly heavy volume, rallied, gaps up and closes in the bottom third of its range. It's just chopping around. Not a lot of power in the midcap. Aerospace and defense is hanging in there, but note the distribution bars here and here and here. Now, this bar didn't close too bad, but there is some red in here. This needs to show some power. Tells us to be careful with aerospace stocks, aerospace and defense. Continue onwards. This is why we do this. Look at that base. And this was bought here a couple times, and it's working nicely. And it's basing again. This is home construction. We own some home construction stocks. And it was telling you, we also own this. Look at the base. Look at the liftoff on that bar right there with volume. That's what we're after. Clean and simple basis. And again, it's forming another one right now. And you know what? I'll just set that alert right there. We'll be ready next week to buy more, or it could be a new buy. Growth is picking up, hanging in there decent. There's no clean spot on it, but it does tell us growth stocks aren't a bad place to be. Compare and contrast. Oh, look, that's near highs or at highs. Oh, this is languishing. Yeah, small cap. Be careful with small cap. Dow Jones real estate is basing. Not a lot of power. It's okay. Maybe you'll find something in there, okay? Transportation, basing, you know, just okay. And this is a great lesson for everybody. Oh, it's a green bar. It's a good bar. Note where it closed. It closed in the bottom fifth of its daily range. It was met with selling. Tells us to be cautious with it at this point in time with transportation. Continue onwards. I'll shrink this again. Regional banks. There's just not a lot of power in regional banks, and it's fallen on increasing volume below the 21-day. Be careful with that. I'd avoid it for right now until it shows some power. Midcap 400, yeah, there's some distribution in here. All right, it's not really leading at this point in time. Be careful with midcap. Oil services, stay away. This is why I do this, team. Look at it drop here. There's nothing there. Leave it alone. Stay away from oil service. Maybe I'll find the one that works. Why? That's like an ego game. Let's get in line with what is working. That will help us. And there's nothing really there. Let's continue onwards in our venture quest. Pharmaceuticals acting decent here. Yeah, we own Lilly, by the way, LLY. And PPH has been acting good. And it has for a while. It was telling us back here. Maybe we should look into some pharmaceutical stocks. It is a little extended now, so be careful with that. Just giving you some lessons here. QLD's hanging in here, NASDAQ 100. I'd love to see this take off these tops and move. That would be really nice. NASDAQ 100, think MAXLIST. Oh, you'll get a video on that too. QQQ's hanging in there too, that's good. Retailing's been steadily grinding up here. You said, you could look into some retailing stocks. It's a little bit extended now, but even back here, retailing's moving. It's a little slower, but it's told us back here, retailing's not a bad place to look. Oh, here, dad humor. Retail's not a bad place to go shopping. There you go. My kids would just shake my head. They shake their heads. My grandkids would just shake their heads. How about that? Let's continue onward. Silver. Now do a compare and contrast. Oh, this is trending up nicely. This is doing nothing. Stay away from silver stocks. Done. Oh, maybe it's going to bottom. Why play the maybe game? Let's not do that. There you go. Let's move on. Stay away from silver. Done. Steel's kind of hanging in there, but it's lost a little bit of power. There was some serious selling in here. Support on the 50-day, but not a lot of buying power in here recently, okay? I'd be careful with steel. SMH is basing here. I like this, and I like the green. This could be a potential candidate if it bases and then takes out this line. Will it? I don't know. But the best thing it could do is base a little longer, maybe another week, and then take off. Semiconductors, then you could look into some semiconductors too. Spiders, S&P 500's hanging in there. There was some distribution in there, but it's near highs, so that's good. Don't argue with it. Just get in line with it. SSO, same thing as SPY. Solar, TAN. What does that tell you? Stay away. By the way, up here in the upper left-hand corner is the ticker symbol on all these, just so you know, and the name, just to help you. Really nothing to do with solar stocks, okay? I mean, if it was really crashing, you'd call it a flame out. Okay, I'm sorry I had to say it. Here we go. Small caps. Not a lot of power in small caps, is there? I'd be cautious with that. USO oil, another lagging oil, leave it alone. Consumer discretionary, it was okay, but it's kind of got a lower high here. There's just not a lot of power there. Leave that alone. Continue onwards. Aerospace and defense. It's basing on the 50-day, but there was some distribution in here. Okay, not a real leadership spot. Compare and contrast this pullback to this base. That's nice. This, there's just not much there. Continue onwards. Here we go. Biotechnology's hanging in there. That's decent. Okay, maybe looking at some biotechnology. But note this, there's been some selling volume in here too. Something to watch. It's a little bit extended. You'd have to find some stocks that have some clean and simple bases in that group. Overall, be careful with biotechnology. Home building, another home building ETF. Yeah, we own home building stocks. Look at this base right here. Is that beautiful? We saw that and that said, hey, we got to look into some home building stocks. And we did, and we own. There you go. We own some. That's great. And when I say we, I mean myself and the members. Here we go. Basic materials. And again, you can always see the right in here. Just kind of selling down here on increasing volume. There's not a lot of power there. I'd be cautious with that. Continue onwards. XLC. Communications is grinding up slowly. Okay. Not a bad place to look. Communications. You can sit there and punch up XLC and see what they own. There you go. XLE, in 1 second, it says, stay away from energy stocks. You're done. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to overthink it. Maybe it's going to bounce. Buy strength. Not maybe it's going to turn. Buy strength that's already proven. That will help you. Financials are good. They've been steadily grinding up. There you go. You could have looked into some financials back here. Even on the ETF. And it's just slowly grinding up. I'm not saying buy it here, but you can see the tactics. It helps us. Here we go. Continue onwards. Industrials hanging in okay. All right. There was some selling right here. All right. And it's just basing, but it's resting on the 21-day. Maybe this could be a candidate or some industrial stocks. There we go. Technology, XLK. Are we involved in technology? Oh, yeah. And we have been. Okay. It's been leading. Look at this leadership back here. Way back in November. And that's what's caused us to be involved in technology. It's just kind of, consumer staples is a slow, steady grind, but there's not a lot of power right there. Healthcare is grinding up, and that's not too bad. By the way, look at the green volume spikes here. Maybe look into some healthcare stocks. And you could have back here too. It was leading. And always remember this. Never chase price. Let price and volume guide you and your actions. Don't argue with it. We don't impose our will on it. We get in line with it. That will really help you, I promise. Consumer discretionary, it's okay. Got a lower high. There's some selling in here, right? There's some selling, so I'd be careful with that. Continue onwards. Metals and mining, lifted up. It's pulled back on some selling volume. There's no real clean entry on that. What does that tell you? Be careful with metals and mining. Oil and gas, another oil and gas exploration ETF. What does it say? Stay away from me. Stay away from oil and gas stocks. Isn't that great to know? It's so good to know these are areas to look into, and it's just as good to know, hey, these are areas to avoid. That's why I make these videos, to help you focus on where to go with your hard-earned money. Narrow it down. We've got a limited amount of money and a limited amount of time. Let's use both wisely. Retailing had a good move, but it's pulling back, and look, there's some distribution in there. Selling volume. Be careful with retailing at this point in time. Software's hanging in. It's been a decent run, but notice this, it did pull back on some volume. It needs to start showing some up power, okay? Software. So let's go in and look at the stocks. Apple, and this is a maxim I taught for years at the IBD meetups. The air is better above the 50-day moving average line. The air is even better above a rising 50-day moving average line. Well, it's below the 50-day moving average line. There's not a lot of power here. This needs to get through the 50-day. There's really nothing to do with it. All right? Leave it alone. Continue onwards. Amazon, we're in Amazon from lower, and it's lifting up. We're in good shape. Perhaps it'll form a handle here and lift off. Right now, we'll just watch it. It's a starter position. We'll see what it can do. I'm not saying buy it here. Okay? We own it from lower, but just watch and see what happens with Amazon. BABA, there's nothing there. Do a compare and contrast. Oh, that's kind of going up. I ain't doing nothing. Leave it. Oh, maybe this is the bottom. Please don't play the maybe game. It's not there. It's not there. And don't look for it. Don't invent it. BIDU, nothing there. Leave it alone. Google had a downward sloping trend line, and it started to lift up, then they took it down, then it lifted up again, and it fell. It's just kind of loose up here. The best thing this could do is base sideways and then form a handle and take off. Is there anything to really do with it now? No, it's just a little too loose, so you got to leave it alone. Goldman Sachs, you can see the weekly right here, and I'll do something that will help you. This is the stuff we teach at Mission Winners, and this is what I used to do at the IBD meetups. There's the tops. Here's the same thing on the daily, weekly and daily, and it's forming a handle here on the daily. What does it need to do? Take out these tops with volume. So that would be good. It would be a weekly cup with a handle. Now, here's the negative. There's selling volume on the daily. There's some selling volume on the weekly. Be cautious with that, just for what it's worth. There's some distribution occurring here. You see that? Be cautious with that. Continue onwards. Intel, there's really nothing there at this point in time. You just kind of have to wait. What could happen? Well, there's a downward sloping trend line here. Could this bounce off the 21 EMA? Sure, that's the blue line. What does it need? It needs to do it with volume. That's the key. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. We like to go where they're voting, okay? MasterCard's kind of grinding up, but it's tentative. I mean, it goes up, they take it down. Oh, this is it, they take it down. Oh, this is it, they take it down. Back and forth. You like stuff that's basing and it just pushes away. So, just for what it's worth. Let's continue onwards. Meta. Clean and simple base buys here. Here. Bouncing off the 21 day. And here. And it's working nicely. Is there anything to do with it at this time? No, we're in good shape. We're just letting it work. By the way, I said this all the time. People talk with their mouths and vote with their pocketbooks. Look at the volume pickup on that bar. They voted. Yeah, we voted too. There we go. It's extended now. I'll say it again. Be careful chasing extended stocks. Microsoft, I talk about this in Mission Winners all the time. Clean and simple flat bases, everybody can see. And there it is. It looks good on the weekly too, and it takes off. We're buying in here, and we're going to let her work and see what it goes. Would I chase it up here for initial position? No, don't chase price. Buy right, sit tight. Please don't chase price. That'll help you. Netflix, we're in from down lower. It's working here, got a little loose here, okay? So we'll watch it and see what happens. I wouldn't buy it there. Nvidia, look at this base. I made videos on this for everybody. Look at that base. Look at the base on the weekly. That's a thing of beauty. Everybody sees it. Something we teach at Mission Winners is this. focus on clean and simple bases. Why? Everybody sees them. It increases the potential they'll buy too. And look at the volume come into this. And it's working. We'll let it work and we'll see what happens. Now, would I buy it up here? No, don't do that. Don't do that. It's too extended. Now, if it bases up here for about a week, maybe that could be a buy. But at this point in time, we're just letting it work. Continue onward. Tesla. See where this lifted up and it had that reversal bar right there? When something runs up and then reverses down on a pickup in volume, be careful. And look what it's done since then. There's nothing to do with it now. Just leave it alone. Visa, kind of lifting up, but it's choppier. It's tentative. It's not pushing away. Be cautious with that. And that is a video overview of the MAXLIST. Just wanted to show you things to look for. It's a 3-day weekend. I encourage you, get away, if you can, get away from the computers and do some other things. We'll be ready, but also recharge. It's great for you. It's good for the head, good for the heart, good for the body. Get out there, live, and then we'll be ready for Tuesday.
Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit like. Maybe hit that subscribe button. We come up with new content nearly every day. Also, check out the videos on the right. YouTube recommends the one on the top, and the bottom one is something we thought you might enjoy. See you next time.